Robert Gibbs, the White House spokesman, is usually a man who is very careful with his words, as you can imagine, as the whole world usually is listening to what the White House has to say. And when he says if the violence is instigated by elements of the government, then it has to stop immediately, that means that there is a strong suspicion within the U.S. government that indeed some of the agitation you see from pro-Mubarak elements may indeed be something that the government itself is orchestrating. And by the way, that's what our correspondents on the ground in Egypt are also suggesting. Of course, that is utterly unacceptable for the U.S. government. Robert Gibbs also calls for an end to the violence, and clearly there is the feeling that after Mubarak went on television last night explaining that he was not going to run in September, but in the meantime he would stay in office just to make sure the transition goes down well. There is the feeling here in Washington that that's not exactly what the White House wanted. What they wanted was a clear sign of what that transition would look like. Maybe a sign, a signal that Mubarak was going to talk to some of the opposition leaders, that there would be some sort of Congress, some sort of meeting with them, and that is not happening. And that's why the White House is very dissatisfied with the situation right now. President Obama was on the phone with Mubarak after his latest allocution on television, and of course the Americans are watching what Mubarak is doing right now, and they are probably very disappointed and also a little bit worried, because it seems that
Guillaume,
yes,
that's right. And let's not forget, of course, that the US provides $1.3 billion in military aid to Egypt. Is that now being called into question?
Well, the position on the military aid to Egypt has been the same now for the past few days, and what the Americans are saying is, look, this aid package is under review. Those are the words chosen by the White House. That means that they are not suspending the aid right now, because of course that would be inappropriate. Right now they are still working or trying to work with that regime, but they are making clear that no aid is going to go there if there is further violence. And also they are saying clearly that if out of this revolution or if this uprising in Egypt comes out a government that the Americans don't like, of course the aid package will also be put into question. But everybody here has noticed that so far the Americans are not willing to withdraw that aid package from Hosni Mubarak, even though it's quote-unquote under review. It's still there, and that may be the last thing that the Americans could do ultimately if Hosni Mubarak refuses to leave, if every sign in Egypt points to the fact that he should be gone. Maybe at that stage the Americans will start to announce that they're withdrawing their aid package, but it's not happening right now.